Down here. I'm not...
Hey, welcome everybody to the 8-man All-Star Football Classic Banquet. Young men, we hope that you're ready for the big ball game on Saturday night. Play hard, play well, but play safe, okay? No injuries. We got a fun evening planned for all of you tonight. Not only will you have the opportunity to meet, if you haven't already, one of the greatest football players who ever played the game, but we also plan to fill the stomachs of these young men. And you know what they say, as grandmas and grandpas, great-grandfathers, about feeding those kids, it's kind of like pounding sand down a rat hole. It's just endless, isn't it? Hey, if you noticed on the program, it says Bob Lowen, legendary voice of the Tigers. I didn't have anything to do with that. But I want you to know that unlike Gale Sayers, who is a legend in his own time, I am a legend in my own mind. Janet Kuhn from the Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau has some words of welcome. Come on up, Janet.
Thank you, Bob. On behalf of the City of Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau, I'd like to welcome you all here to Hayes for this momentous occasion. We welcome you, Gale and Artie. We're glad you're here in Kansas with us. And Artie's from Nebraska originally, so we've got some competition going on here, Nebraska versus Kansas.
It's good for us to stop and to give thanks for athletic ability, for healthy bodies and minds and spirits, for the practice of good sportsmanship. Gracious God, we pause now and we would ask that you would bless these young athletes from Kansas and Nebraska. And Father, we would pray that you would help each of them to find the purpose and the plan that you have for their lives. Lord, we'd ask that you'd bless our time tonight. Help us to understand a life well lived and the pursuit of excellence, not only through athletics, but through giving our best in every situation. Amen.
Hey boys, guess what time it is? It's time to eat, isn't it? Yes.
Oh, you will. I'm tiny.
First of all, I feel really honored to be able to play at this game. It's great to come down here and be able to play with all these talented people. And, well, I guess the first practice went pretty well. And, yeah, I guess I'm just honored to be here, so.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to start out by thanking everyone because it's a great honor to be selected to play in this game, and it's a great opportunity to play our last high school game together, and it should be fun.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Like I said, my name's Dylan Barnard. Go to Madison. Just came from Beloit for the 8-man All-Star game a couple weeks ago, and we had a great time up there, and I'm just looking to have the same good time here with all these guys and make some friends and, I don't know, maybe see a couple guys down the road. But the game's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it, and just want to thank all the coaches for the time that they're going to be putting into us here and making us better and just bringing us together and having a good game.
He said all of it. I got nothing to say.
I'm Reggie Jordan. First, I want to thank God for bringing all of us here today safely. And it's a great honor to play here and play with the Kansas team because it's a bunch of 8-man players. Only a few of us get selected. There's 24 great guys I'm playing on a team with. So I just want to say thank you and thank you for the coaches and everybody came out and support us.
Well, just like the athletes here think it's a nice honor, it's also a nice honor to be here as a coach, to coach these outstanding players from the state of Kansas against the All-Stars from Nebraska. It's my second time I've been went through Hayes. Last time I went through Hayes as a player in '68 when Emporia State played here in the stadium we practiced at today. I vividly remember having a lot of collisions with a guy named Rich Dreiling. I think he's a Hayes guy. As I remember looking in the program, he was from Hayes, and in that time he was a pretty big running back. So looking forward to the game Friday night, Saturday night, and thanks a lot for having us here.
I kind of echo his words that this is truly an honor to be selected to coach in this game. It's not, and for these guys, I hope they understand the honor that they have. As we told them in practice today, there's the 24 best 8-man players from each state that get to come up here, and not many people get that opportunity. For us, to work with 3 other great minds and to work with all this talent, it's going to be a lot of fun. We don't have a lot of time to put things together, but these guys are good on both teams, and they'll be a quality product on the field on Saturday. So I hope to see you guys over there.
Thank you. Thank you, coaches.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, when I first saw the program, they wanted a perspective from us, and about that time I lost all perspective because I'm not really good at speaking in front of large crowds. But I'm going to do my best. I told the gentlemen today that they're going to make lasting friendships. They're going to last a lifetime, and it's true on both squads. You gentlemen cherish the moments you have. It's a great honor to be in this situation. We have 2 of the strongest 8-man coach associations in the nation. They allow us to set up these games, and we get to have these challenges and get to go learn different cultures and go to different places, and it's very wonderful. And I consider it an honor and a privilege to coach you guys. Thank you.
Not much more I can repeat after that, but it is a great honor to be selected, you guys as players and as coaches to get to coach you guys. And basically all I got to say is you only get to do this once. So you guys, when you're out there playing on Saturday evening, make the most of it and just have a great time and take everything you can from this experience because you're going to remember it for the rest of your life. Thank you.
If you young men are looking for a role model, you couldn't possibly find a better person. He came up the hard way and he made it to the top, and he can show you how to do that. If you haven't read his book, I Am Third, pick it up and read it. You'll read it in one night. Yes, you will. It's excellent reading. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen Gale Sayers in action, if you've never really watched this man operate, your opportunity is right now.
Sayers was a born runner, the kind that comes along once in a generation. Nicknamed the Kansas Comet, he came to the pros at a time when the AFL and the NFL were embroiled in bidding wars over the best college talent. The father of football, Papa Bear George Halas, was not about to let Sayers get away.
Those were some of my worst runs, okay? Open field. That's another way of saying opportunity. Open field symbolizes the opportunity and individual freedom we enjoy in this country. That's all one can ask. Open field is no guarantee. It says simply, it's out there for you if you have the skill and desire to go all the way. Open field is a football term, but it's not about football. It's about making decisions about the rest of one's life. This is especially difficult for the professional athlete. After all, young football players think they're going to play forever. I know I did. Remember the old song? Those were the days, my friend. We thought they would never end. But of course, they do end. The cheering stops, and so does the paychecks. Sometimes it ends abruptly with a grinding knee injury. Sometimes it's more gradual. You lose half a step, then a full step. They start catching you from behind. And for the first time in your life, you begin thinking seriously about life after football. Some great athletes never do make it, living for the rest of their life on memories, unable to put their athletic records behind them. Even for those players who were the best prepared, the period of transition from football to a new life away from football is traumatic. The thought of never playing again is devastating. And there are nagging self-doubts, even panic. You wonder if you can make it in the outside world. You wonder if you can catch up with your contemporaries. You wish you had studied harder in college. You regret not having taken those business courses during the off season. I had many of these feelings and many of these fears. Why not? Football was my life, but football hadn't exactly prepared me to a career in the business world. Don't get me wrong, I love being a football player. I wouldn't trade the Sunday afternoons for anything in this world, and there were other benefits. Through my career with the Chicago Bears, I was able to meet and work with some very special people. The friends I made helped me become a better football player. They gave me support at what seemed to be the darkest hour of my life, the day my knee was damaged. They encouraged me as I built a successful career, first in athletic administration at the University of Kansas and Southern Illinois University, and then in business. Without them, the road would have been a lot lonelier and a lot rougher. I couldn't have done it without their support and cooperation. I think you would agree. Teamwork is the key to achievement. Nobody does it alone. The teammates I had in my days with the Bears inspired me, not so much by what they said, but by what they did, by their example, and by the way they lived their lives. This evening, I want to tell you about 5 such people. I hope that their stories will be an inspiration to you as you strive to go all the way in your open field. The story begins with Buddy Young. None of you know Buddy Young, okay? Because if it wasn't for Buddy, I wouldn't have signed with the Chicago Bears. I would have been with the Kansas City Chiefs of the old AFL. I was leaning towards the Chiefs. I knew the Kansas City area very well. I had a lot of friends there. I went to school at the University of Kansas. In 1965, when I was eligible for the college draft, the 2 leagues were in an all-out signing war for players. One of the NFL babysitters was Buddy Young, and the late Commissioner Pete Rozelle couldn't have chosen a better salesperson. The NFL was Buddy Young's life. He sold it 24 hours a day. Up to that point, I'd never come across a man who knew so much about so many things as Buddy Young. He was 5 foot 4 inches tall, almost a midget by football standards. They told him he was too small to play football at Wendell Phillips High School in Chicago. So he became an all-state football player. The same story at the University of Illinois, too small. So at 5 foot 4 inches tall, he became a Rose Bowl hero and a college All-American. He was too small to play for the Baltimore Colts, but of course he kept right on scoring touchdowns in the National Football League. Buddy Young sold me on the NFL and the Chicago Bears. Buddy was a close friend and advisor until he died in an automobile accident back in 1983. I shall always remember him for his enthusiasm and for his never say die spirit. His message to me: have the courage of your convictions, never sell yourself short, never accept another person's evaluation of your potential. Dare to be the best. Dare to be the best. It's easy to say, but it's not so easy to do, because being the best takes courage as well as talent. Is it worth it? I think it is. It's been my experience that those who strive to be the best work harder, accomplish more, and get more out of life than those who set their sights on being just average. If Buddy Young was the reason I came with the Bears, then Dr. Ted Fox was the reason I was able to stay with the Bears. He was the Bears' orthopedic specialist, and he was the best in the business, and he put my mangled leg back together in 1968, and he helped put my life back together also. A running back with a broken knee isn't a running back anymore. But Dr. Fox told me he would make it as good as new, and he didn't lie. The very next season, I gained over 1,000 yards to lead the league in rushing. Dr. Fox also taught me the meaning of the term paying the price. Paying the price means that when you're so tired and you can't go on, you give just a little bit more. You make one more block. You carry the ball one more time. Paying the price is playing when you're hurt, playing with pain. Paying the price is getting those knees into shape after surgery. It means being dedicated in everything you do. Talk about dedication. Dedication brings me to another one of my teammates on the Chicago Bears. He was one of the toughest men I've ever known. His name, Dick Butkus. There was no one in pro football I respected more than Dick Butkus. I had a real advantage over the other running backs in the National Football League. Dick Butkus played for the Bears. Dick was the most dedicated player I've ever met. He put his whole soul into tackling people. You haven't lived until you've been rammed by Dick Butkus. I used to like to watch him work over the center when the other team was in punt formation. The center was afraid to snap the ball because he knew he was going to take a shot from Butkus. I've said many, many times, Dick Butkus hit me harder in scrimmage than I've ever been hit in a game. Dick Butkus, a member of Pro Football's Hall of Fame, had great physical ability. But the key to his success was his single-minded determination to be the best linebacker who ever played the game, and his willingness to work to make that goal a reality. Dick wasn't just a Sunday player. He would all out every day on every play all week long. Dick Butkus was tough and talented, but it was his day in and day out consistency that made him great. The toughness of Dick Butkus was incredible, but nobody was tougher than the owner of the Chicago Bears, my old coach, the late George Halas. His courage and dogged determination built the National Football League. When I was playing for the Bears, people asked me if George Halas had a great deal of influence in the affairs of the Bears. I had one stock reply: if Halas told me to go to hell, I'd be in a hurry to get started. My relationship with George Halas has always been like that of a father and son. I respected him as a coach and as a man. Some people thought George Halas was cheap and tight-fisted, that his players were underpaid. well, I can only judge him by what he did for me. It's true the man pulled no punches. He told you exactly how it was, and he would fight you for every $1,000 at contract time. But cheap, no way. Let me give you a couple examples. After each of my 4 years of my first and last contract with the Chicago Bears, Mr. Hollis gave me a substantial bonus. I would call him very generous. When Brian Piccolo had cancer, his hospital bills came over $500,000 the time he had cancer. And Mr. Hollis paid for all the hospital bills. Brian has 3 daughters, and he paid for scholarships for them to go to Wake Forest. But if I was to characterize George Hollis with one word, that word would be caring. George Hollis cared about the Bears and about winning. But he cared just as much about his players and their families and what happened to them after their football days were over. George Hollis always told me that football was only a stepping stone to my life's work. He backed up his words by always being available to me. He advised me on business matters. He made my concerns his own. More than any one person, he helped me make the successful transition from the 50-yard line to the bottom line. Hall of Famer Red Grains said that George Hollis's outstanding trait was courage, but it was this quality of caring that I appreciated the most. From the Decatur Steelers to the Chicago Bears to the NFL today, George Hollis cared deeply. Here indeed was a man who went all the way in his open field. George Hollis was my role model, and I want to share a poem with you that talks about role models. I'd rather see a sermon than to hear one any day. I'd rather you walk with me than merely show the way. The eye is much better and more willing than the ear. Its fine words are confusing, but an example is always clear. And the best of all the teachers are the men who live their creeds. For to see deeds in action is what everyone needs. I can learn how you do it if you let me see it done. I can watch your hands in action and see legs that run. The lectures you deliver may be very wise and true, but I get the lesson better by seeing what you do. For I may misunderstand you and the high advice you give, but there's no misunderstanding on how you act and how you live. If George Hollis was one of the most caring persons I knew with the Bears, the most courageous was Brian Piccolo. We began rooming together in 1968 and became very, very close friends. In 1964, Brian led the nation in rushing and scoring, but was not drafted. They claimed he didn't have enough speed or he wasn't big enough. The Bears took a chance on him, and he became one hell of a football player. He had a favorite saying. He would always say, I won't get you 60 yards like Gale Sayers can, but I can get you 10 sixes. And he could do that. Brian was one of the few people who had confidence in me when I came off my knee injury. His encouragement was a key factor in my comeback. He was such a happy-go-lucky guy, always had a joke. Even when he realized that he was dying of cancer, he didn't change. Right up to the end, when you would visit him in the hospital, he was busy cheering you up. I will always cherish the memories of our days together. My life has been enriched by his courage and by his love. I received many benefits from my years in pro football, but none were more important than the gifts I received from these 5 friends. From Buddy Young, his never say die spirit. From Dick Buckus, his incredible dedication. From George Hollis, his caring. From Brian Piccolo, his courage. And of course, from Dr. Ted Fox, the importance of paying the price. I have been fortunate in my friends. They inspired me during my football career. More importantly, that inspiration helped me build a successful career after football. And I hope that their stories inspired you. One more thing. These 5 talented people, as they could be, but they had something basic in common. Each, in his own way, with his own talent, dared to be the best. Each of them determined to be in the thick of the action, to experience the excitement and thrill of going all the way in the open field. Thank you very much.
Gale Sayers, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck, guys. Saturday night.
We